Let's say that you're not at fault. Here are a few tips and tricks to protect your case to make sure that it's set up to succeed. Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel. Today, we're going to talk about something that affects countless individuals every day: personal injury. Whether it's a small slip and fall or a major catastrophic crash, there are ways that you can take steps to prevent these things from happening. So, before we get to it, let's dive into the 7 most common personal injuries you may face. We've all had those sometimes embarrassing moments where we slip and fall. Sometimes they hurt a little more than others. Whether it's slippery floor, uneven pavement, a poorly lit area, slip and falls happen daily and they can be really painful situations to go through. For example, if you're going to a Walmart and you're walking through an aisle and they're supposed to check that aisle every so often to see if there's any spills or any issues. Let's say that system failed and you slipped and you fell. Should you be compensated for it if you broke your arm? Should you be compensated if you had a concussion? Number 1, if you're hurt, you should seek medical advice immediately. This is the way that you can both get the treatment that you need to actually feel better and to set up your case if you do have one. 2, if you are healthy enough, get up and take some pictures of whatever you just fell on. If you are already too hurt and you can't do that, that's okay. A lot of the time, there will be video evidence of what happened, but if you can get first-hand accounts over what you fell over, it will help your case. Number 3, if your slip and fall happened in a public or a private place, make sure to report it to any supervisor or manager or anybody that you can find that works at the place that you fell. That's the only way you will get an incident report written, which will become critical evidence later down the line in your slip and fall case. 4, collect the information from any witnesses that may have witnessed you fall. If you can get their information now, they're going to be a lot harder to find later if you need their testimony. 5, anyone that you know that might be involved from an insurance standpoint, maybe homeowners insurance, maybe it was a commercial policy. If you can get insurance companies on notice, you should. 6, whether you're considering legal action or not, talking to a personal injury lawyer is completely for free. They work for you only if you get paid. And I do suggest you contact a personal injury lawyer if you fell and you just want to understand the situation a little better. You can have a no-cost consultation with any personal injury lawyer if they're the right kind of personal injury lawyer, and they'll kind of guide you from the start on what you should do and will allow you to engage them if you want them to take it over. Car accidents. They happen all the time. The most important thing you can do to protect yourself from getting in a car accident is being in complete control of your vehicle at all times. That means being far enough away from someone in front of you that you won't rear end them, not tailgating people. Having proper distance behind somebody is so crucial. Also, don't be distracted. With all the distractions we have around us today, whether that's TikTok, whether that's Instagram, whether that's just being on your phone, taking calls, making calls, responding to emails, anything with your phone, it can wait. Your life cannot. When it comes to DUI or any sort of reckless driving, of course, you're putting yourself at risk and the entire road at risk. The best way to prevent getting in a car accident is preventing it yourself and making sure you are not the one responsible. But let's say that you're not at fault. Here are a few tips and tricks to protect your case to make sure that it's set up to succeed. Number 1, you were just in a car accident. First, look around. Make sure your passengers or anybody in the car is okay. Call 911 and make sure that they send an ambulance if you need it. Number 2, call the police. You need an objective account as to what happened. It will set your case up to succeed. If it becomes he said, she said, your word against them, and there's no police report, it's very difficult to help you have a successful personal injury case. Number 3, be cautious what you post on social media. I can't even begin to tell you how many times I've seen clients really hurt their case because they post something silly on social media about the case or about their injuries that really isn't what the real picture shows. Number 4, if you require medical treatment, go get it. It's the only way that you will feel better, and it's the only way that you will build your case. If you don't go to the doctor, you don't have a personal injury case. Personal injury cause number 3, workplace incidents. Your workplace may feel sometimes like your second home, but accidents may happen. whether it's faulty equipment, bad supervision, bad training, bad hiring. These things can happen, mistakes can happen, and people can get hurt. If you were hurt on the job and you maybe feel a little bit of hesitation about doing something about it, maybe you're scared of getting fired, maybe you're scared of some sort of retaliation, that may cause a second case if you get fired for bringing a legitimate workers' compensation case. You have these rights under the law, and if you want to use them the right way to protect yourself, if you get hurt due to something that's not your fault on the job, you have a right to do so. Here are a few things that I'm going to go into that will help you with your workers' compensation case. Number one, notify your supervisor about your injuries. If you don't do that, then they might not take note of it, they might not do an incident report, and you may not have a case. Report it, but if you didn't report it the same day, you still may have a case. So don't think you don't if you didn't report it the same day, but just go report it. It's the right way to handle these kind of situations. Number two, if you were hurt, make sure to go through your workers' compensation doctors and report it through your workers' compensation insurance. They do have people that you can go see that will make sure you get the treatment you need and deserve if you do get hurt. Number three, attend all medical appointments. If you don't attend appointments, it's very difficult to prove that you were hurt the way that you are saying that you were hurt. Just show up. Remember, workplace accidents and getting hurt on the job can be complicated. If you ever feel overwhelmed, you should contact a workers' compensation attorney to make sure that you are being protected on your individual rights. Cause number four, toxic torts. Toxic torts are an unfortunate, upsetting topic to talk about. These are torts where chemicals are causing cancer and issues in humans due to water, air, and different kinds of exposure. Here are a few ways that you can prevent this kind of exposure and the most common ways that toxic torts affect people. Number one, double check your water is safe. Across the country, PFAS or PFOAS are being found in water sources all across the country. Military bases and those areas are dangerous to drink that water. There are also PFAS outbreaks from private companies such as 3M who admitted to dumping PFAS in the water. These chemicals are directly linked with kidney cancer, testicular cancer, and several others, ulcerative colitis, thyroid issues, etc. Number two, double check your air quality. If you live in a cancer pocket, sometimes there are air quality issues that cause cancer. I'm working on a case in different parts of the country where air chemicals such as ethylene oxide from different manufacturing processes are getting in the air and causing cancer in humans. If your air is not safe, that's another way that you can prevent getting cancer in a toxic exposure scenario. Double check that your air is safe. Number three, food. There are certain kinds of foods that cause cancer at a higher rate than others. Over the future, there will be several litigations that get formed from companies that are knowingly putting food on the market that causes specific kinds of cancer. Over the next 10, 15, 20 years, this will be an emerging case type across the country. Number four, be careful of the drugs and products you use. Certain products such as shampoos, deodorants, toothpastes are carcinogens. Double check that your products are safe. There's an app called Yuka, Y-U-K-A. It's a free app that will allow you to scan products and make sure that they're safe. Double check that your products are safe and you'll protect yourself from toxic torts. Number five, medical malpractice. Medical malpractice can lead to serious injuries, death, dismemberment. And it's a very sensitive subject because nobody wants to ever sue their doctor. The way that the scales are balanced and that things are done fairly, ethically, and to the benefit of the patient is to have medical malpractice as a part of the law. Here are the 5 ways that you can protect yourself from medical malpractice. Number 1, write a timeline of what happened. If you saw multiple doctors, if you had multiple issues, make sure that there's a clear timeline written down somewhere so that if you do speak to a lawyer about it, you have it really organized. Number 2, if you have a serious permanent injury, you might as well ask questions. If somebody died and it was preventable, if somebody lost a limb and it was preventable, those are serious instances where medical malpractice may have occurred. If the more serious an injury occurred that you feel in your gut may have been preventable, those are the situations that may be medical malpractice. 3, Try to get your medical records. If you have the ability to get your medical records, it's much cheaper and faster than if you do hire a lawyer for that firm to go get it. And you can kind of get an idea as to what happened with your loved one if it was not you that were affected by this. 4, it's okay to ask questions. If you don't understand what's going on with your loved one and they got hurt or something serious seems to be going on and you just don't feel in the loop, ask questions. It's the only way that you can get people to commit to things that you want to know. 5, state dependent, but talk to law firms. Different states across the country have different laws around med mal. Some cases you can't even have a medical malpractice case. In those that you can, talk to multiple lawyers. Don't just talk to one, talk to at least 3. If you get turned down by firm 1 for your medical malpractice case, different firms look at these cases differently. Try to talk to at least 3 if you get turned down by the first 2. Just keep asking questions. It's okay to get multiple reviews of your medical malpractice situation because a different firm might have a different perspective. Maybe they had a case just like yours. Maybe they see an angle that someone else doesn't. Because medical malpractice is so sophisticated and so complicated, and there's so many moving parts, you don't want to just let one firm tell you what happened or didn't happen. You want to ask a few. Number 6, product liability. Sometimes products are just designed wrong and cause injury. If you or a loved one were affected by a product, maybe it was a toy that had a part that a child could eat that caused a huge issue. Maybe it had a loose battery. Maybe the design was just incorrect. There are several different kinds of products out there, and a lot of them are designed wrong. If you get hurt as a result of that, you deserve to be compensated under the law. Here are a few pieces of advice that might be helpful in your product's liability case. Number 1, if a product poses a risk to your life, either it was recalled or it was some sort of inherently dangerous product, just stop using it. The risk is not worth the benefit. Number 2, take photos of any defect. Let's say that there's an issue with a toy, maybe there's an issue with a car. Just snap photos because you're going to need that evidence to prove your case. Number 3, reach out to the manufacturer and make a claim. If you were hurt, reach out to them about it. If you prefer to talk to a lawyer first, that's okay. But if you want to just see if you can settle it out, that might be an option for you. Number 4, double check your consumer rights in your jurisdiction. There might be different laws when it comes to products liability in your state. Number 5, if you do speak to the manufacturer, make sure to save any of those emails or texts related to that conversation. Number 6, if you do hire a lawyer, just stay in contact with them about it the entire time. Sometimes they might need an update from you if you got hurt and you need to, extend your treatment, you need a surgery. Just make sure that you keep your lawyer in the loop about what's going on with you and what you're hearing from the manufacturer if they somehow contact you. Number 7, dog bites. Experiencing a dog bite can be traumatizing. If you don't take the appropriate steps to make sure that your dog bite case properly is taken care of, both that you get the treatment that you need to prevent infection, rabies, tetanus, and different issues tied to dog bites, and that you protect yourself and future people that may be bit by that dog. Here are the few tips to make sure that your safety is protected from a dog bite scenario. Number 1, if the dog bite is severe and maybe there's some sort of infection potential, you need to get treatment immediately. If you don't get treatment immediately, the infection can persist and become much worse. I've represented clients that have lost parts of their leg from getting bit too bad and the infection not being treated fast enough. Number 2, if the bite is not totally severe but they broke skin, you still may want to go get checked out by a health professional. Number 1, you need the documentation if you do choose to move forward with a case. And number 2, you may still need a tetanus shot or some antibiotics related to that bite. Number 3, try to figure out the dog's owner and where that dog lives. If you know those things, you may be able to hold them liable for what happened to you and prevent harm from somebody else getting bit by that dog. Number 4, know that most states have a 3-strike policy. If you do bring forward a dog bite case, the first bite almost never leads to that dog getting put down. So that doesn't need to be a fear of yours. Number 5, write down a journal on what your experience is from that dog bite. Sometimes it can cause really deep psychological harm that you may want to seek psychological care for. You can get PTSD, you can have nightmares. These are really serious incidents, and if you were hurt bad enough, just write down what you're experiencing mentally from that incident. Interacting with dogs can be wonderful. If you have a dog that is trained, well taken care of, well fed, they're most likely going to be an amazing companion for you. Not all dogs are taken care of that well. If the dog isn't taken care of very well, it may be dangerous. So if you don't prevent yourself from putting yourself into harmful situations, then you may put that dog into a harmful situation where it may do something that it doesn't even realize it's doing. So just protect yourself and don't put yourself into unnecessarily dangerous dog bite scenarios. That's a wrap for today. Thank you so much for joining us. If you felt like this had valuable content in it, make sure to hit that subscribe button, follow along. I will see you later.